In celebration of Neru backlogging what seems to be all of his songs with a PV to his YouTube channel, I want to take a look at a gem that was lost to the YouTube censors for a very long time. As I've already discussed a bit, Neru is perhaps most known for his dark music that exposes a societal problem. Two of these are the fantastic songs Drowning in a Wave of Sadness and I Want to Be a Kind Person, which both show someone who, for their own reasons, were overwhelmed by the world around them. But while both of these songs are fantastic, they are not the subject of today's video. That goes to their sequel song and my personal favorite of all of Neru's pieces, Terror. Terror takes place an unspecified amount of time after the two songs prior and presents the relationship between Hanpen, the boy from Drowning in a Wave of Sadness, and Yu, the girl from I Want to Be a Kind Person. As the title of his song suggests, Hanpen is not a very happy person. The PV for Drowning in a Wave of Sadness features some of the heaviest visuals that I've ever seen from Vocaloid. It's grotesque and dark, filled with imagery of Hanpen wishing for death. While not relying on Neru's wheelhouse, the flaws of education, as many of his songs from that era were at least tangentially about, Drowning in a Wave of Sadness still starts with a line on screen reading, "Please become a smart child." Hanpen is awash in grief for feeling that his life lacks agency and that he has no internal reason to remain alive. The final shot of the PV is Hanpen lying on the ground lifeless, resigned to his powerlessness in the world around him. For her part, Yu isn't much happier in her song. She mentions coming from a troubled home, and the main cause of her grief is having had a boy she cared for kill himself. Having failed to do anything to prevent that after seeing the boy's self-harm wounds, Yu starts to see herself and the world around her as stagnant and rotten. She wants to be a kind person because of the regret that she feels. Throughout the song, Yu looks on at carefree people with jealousy, and in the end, she can't help but break down and cry. The reason I laid out so much background is so that you really get a sense for where these people are coming from by the time that we reach Terror. Unlike much of Neru's discography, Terror is, both in style and in message, an overwhelmingly positive song, with a lesson to teach rather than a flaw to point out. The thesis for the piece is Yu helping Hanpen out of his depression and teaching him to have agency in his life. From the first second of the song, there is already cause to be moved, as Yu is shown having grown up a bit and is smiling looking towards Hanpen. Given where her character came from, this is already a moving development. As someone who lost a loved one to suicide, Yu's willingness and drive to help Hanpen with his problems is simply beautiful. Furthermore, the way that this message is conveyed doesn't break from Yu's character as we understand it. Her message for Hanpen is to fight back, to laugh as hard as you are laughed at and persist forward even if the only thing waiting for you is pain. Because at least then you can say that you were alive. As she says, you may fall over, trip, or collapse, but that is proof you tried to move forwards. Fitting, given that Hanpen's biggest problem was the dissociation he felt, that his life was not his own and that he had no reason to continue. Your heart is yours alone, Yu says to him in the refrain before the final chorus. The message of the song is not simply that companionship and affection from another can save and redeem, but rather that your life belongs to you, and it is you who should decide how it unfolds. The song doesn't say, it's okay. The song tells you to fight back. The world will always be a less than desirable place, filled with awful things, but it is because of that that we can never stop pushing forward. The last scenes of the song, Yu embracing Hanpen as he cries, and the two of them holding hands, really move me. Yu's name literally means kindness, and by the end, she has certainly lived up to the desire she felt in her own song. Terror is comfort. Terror is resistance. Terror is hope, and above all else, terror is the push to keep moving forward. Your life is your own, so laugh back. Listen to Terror, and all of Neru's songs for that matter. They're all certainly worth it.